Maybe you've heard it, the quiet but cutting voice that whispers you're not doing enough, you're not getting it right, not quite measuring up. It shows up in the rush to be perfect, and the pressure to keep it all together, and the way you speak to yourself when no one else is listening. If you've ever felt like your own inner critic is louder than your self-trust, this episode is for you. Because here's the truth, you weren't born talking to yourself this way. That voice, harsh, unrelenting, exhausting, was shaped by stories, experiences, expectations that were never yours to carry. But you can learn to soften it. You can shift your inner dialogue into one that is rooted in compassion, not criticism. Today, we're exploring why that inner critic exists, where it comes from, and how you can begin to rewrite the story it tells you, gently, patiently, one thought at a time. Hi there, I'm Cynthia. Not so long ago, I discovered a path that led to a life-transforming journey of love and healing. After reaching a point where I was simply exhausted, tired of feeling stuck, tired of the same patterns. A couple of years and many lessons later, here I am, living in alignment with my truth and embracing the life I once thought was out of reach. I created Ignite and Flow to help you navigate your path of emotional healing, ignite the love and light within, and enjoy the magical experience of life. Self-love, people-pleasing, letting go, nourishing and healing the mind, and all things in between are a few things we touch on. I teach you how to let go and live a life you love here and now, wholeheartedly and unconditionally. Yes, you deserve it. You deserve to live a life you love as your most beautiful and authentic self. Life is worth living and you're worth loving, my friend. Are you ready to get started? This is the Ignite and Flow podcast. Welcome back to the Ignite and Flow podcast, where we explore practical ways to nourish, heal, and love your life. I'm your host, Cynthia, and I'm so glad you're here. Today, we're talking about something some of us struggle with, that voice in our heads that tells us we're not enough. You know the one. It questions our worth, magnifies our mistakes, and rarely gives credit for how far we've come. But where does that voice even come from? And more importantly, how do we create some space from it? Maybe even begin to rewrite the story it tells. In this episode, we're unpacking why we're often our own worst critics, how old conditioning, perfectionism, and past wounds shape the way we speak to ourselves. And I'll be sharing simple ways you can start softening that inner critic and shift your self-talk towards something kinder, truer, and more supportive. So wherever this finds you, whether you're out on a walk, moving gently through your day, or just taking a quiet moment for yourself, let's settle in and begin. Before we get into today's episode, I want to share something that might be of real value for you, especially if today's topic is landing close to home. If you've been feeling that quiet ache like something's missing, or maybe you've been giving so much to others that somewhere along the way you lost touch with yourself, I'd like to invite you into the Self-Love Blueprint. It's a gentle, guided journey back to you, a space to reconnect, reflect, and begin to rebuild your relationship with yourself through simple, soulful rituals. Inside this cohort, Awaken to Love, we're moving through heart-centered modules that help you let go of what's weighing you down, anchor into who you truly are, and create a nourishing wellness ritual that supports you daily and allows you to feel rooted in peace, in presence, and unconditional self-love. This is not just about learning, it's about living. With weekly live coaching calls, a private circle for connection, and thoughtful resources to support your growth, this experience is here to help you feel empowered, grounded, and whole in who you truly are. If your heart's been whispering that it's time for a new chapter, one that's written in love, not pressure, this could be your next step. Early bird enrollment is open at the moment, and you'll find the link to apply for this program in the show notes if you feel called to explore. Now, let's get into today's episode. Okay, let's start here. You weren't born criticizing yourself. That voice, that harsh inner dialogue, the one that tells you you're falling short, it's something you learned. Something that was modeled, absorbed, repeated. Maybe it began in childhood, when love sometimes felt conditional, when praise came only after perfection and mistakes were met with disappointment. Maybe it came from school, or early friendships, or even the media, where being good enough always seemed just out of reach. Wherever it came from, somewhere along the way, many of us started believing that being hard on ourselves was how we could stay safe, or be better, or finally be worthy. And here's what makes it tricky. The inner critic doesn't always sound like shouting. Sometimes it's subtle. Sometimes it wears the voice of motivation, telling you should be further along, you should be more productive, you should have it all together by now. But beneath all those shoulds is often a quiet fear that who you are isn't enough as you are. And when we live with that fear long enough, we begin to internalize it. We forget that it was never ours to begin with. We stop questioning whether the voice in our head is even telling the truth. But here's something I want you to hear and really take in. The inner critic is not your truth. It's a survival pattern, a protector, an outdated strategy trying to keep you safe by avoiding judgment, rejection, or failure. It learned to speak that way because at one time it thought it was helping you, and maybe it did for a while. But now it just keeps you stuck, stuck in self-doubt, stuck in striving, stuck in cycles that weigh down your energy and cloud your sense of self-worth. The good news is patterns can change, inner stories can soften, and that voice in your head, it can be retrained gently, patiently, one compassionate thought at a time. Today, we're going to start by simply noticing, naming it, creating a little space between you and the voice so that you can begin to reclaim your truth, not the critic's version of you, but your version. The one that knows you're doing the best you can, the one that knows you're worthy of kindness, especially your own. I really want you to get the most out of everything I'm sharing with you today. Reflection is such a powerful tool, but I understand it can come with a mix of emotions, and a moment of stillness can make all the difference. If you're feeling the need to slow down and center yourself, I invite you to download the Calm Reset affirmation cards. They're designed to bring you back to a peaceful state, offering affirmations that help guide you through moments of stress, overwhelm, or uncertainty. You can download your free Calm Reset cards at igniteandflow.com/calm reset. Take a moment, breathe deeply, and allow yourself to reset. Shifting your inner dialogue doesn't mean pretending everything is fine when it's not. And it's not about silencing the critic through force or fake positivity. It's about becoming aware, becoming curious, and slowly, tenderly choosing a new way to speak to yourself, one grounded in truth, care, and compassion. Let's walk through how you begin to change the story. Number one, notice the voice, don't become it. Before you can shift the inner critic, you have to recognize it. This means creating just enough space to notice when it shows up and how it speaks to you. Ask yourself, what does the inner critic say most often? When is it loudest? Under stress? After making a mistake? When you're trying something new? Whose voice does it sound like? Does it echo an old teacher, a parent, or a past version of yourself? You're not trying to judge the voice or even argue with it, just observe. Because the moment you notice it, you're no longer merged with it. You've already started the shift. Try this. The next time that inner commentary kicks in, take a breath and say to yourself, this is my inner critic speaking. That one small pause creates a powerful opening for change. Number two, get curious about the roots. The inner critic didn't come out of nowhere. It was shaped by expectations, experiences, trauma, culture, or even a desire to keep you safe. Sometimes, criticism is the mind's clumsy way of trying to help. If I criticize myself first, I'll be more prepared. If I hold myself to impossible standards, I'll be more loved or accepted. But here's the truth. Criticism isn't protection, it's pressure. And it usually backfires. Reflect gently. Where might this voice have come from? What is it trying to protect me from? Understanding the roots can soften the harshness and help you meet yourself with more grace. 3. Begin the practice of self-compassion. This is where transformation starts, not with blame or bulldozing through the inner critic, but with compassion, with remembering you're human, and being human is messy at times, imperfect, and deeply worthy of love. Start by asking, what would I say to a friend who felt like this? Can I offer myself the same kindness I so easily extend to others? What's the more gentle thing I can say to myself right now? Compassion isn't weakness, It's a quiet strength that changes everything. So try this. When you notice the critic, pause and replace the thought with a softer truth. Instead of, I'm failing, try, I'm doing the best I can, and that is enough for today. Number 4, rewrite the story one thought at a time. Healing your inner dialogue is not about ignoring the pain. It's about offering a new narrative, one that is rooted in who you truly are, not who you were told you had to be. This might look like creating simple affirmations that feel real and grounding. Not I'm perfect, but I'm learning, I'm growing, I'm worthy as I am. Use daily reminders, whatever you can have, journaling prompts, just to reinforce those new beliefs. Repeating these truths, even when you don't fully believe them yet, because over time, your mind learns to follow the gentler path you're choosing. Remember, you are not your thoughts, you're the awareness behind them, and that awareness has the power to choose a new way. 5. Practice, not perfection. This is not about fixing yourself. It's about showing up again and again with kindness. Some days the critic will be loud, some days it'll be quiet. What matters is how you meet yourself in those moments. You can always begin again with softness, with patience, with love. What's one small way you can show up for yourself differently today? Maybe saying no without guilt, taking a breath before reacting, or simply resting when you're feeling tired with no apology or explanation to anybody. It's about honoring yourself in those moments. So here's where the inner shift comes in. As you do this work bit by bit, moment by moment, you start to notice something profound. The critic may still speak, but it no longer defines you. There's more space between the thought and the truth. And in that space, you reclaim your power. This is how the story begins to change, not all at once, but steadily, from self-judgment to self-understanding, from pressure to presence, from harshness to healing. And that, dear one, is the real work of self-love. So over to you. Now it's your turn. What resonated most from today's episode? Was it the moment you realized your inner critic isn't you, just a pattern you've outgrown? Or maybe it was a reminder that self-compassion is a strength, not a soft option. Take a breath and let that insight land. And as you move through your day, I invite you to carry one small intention with you, whether it's noticing when that critical voice shows up, choosing a gentler thought, or simply remembering you are not behind and you're not broken, you're becoming. If you're feeling called to explore this more deeply, I invite you to apply for the Self-Love Blueprint. It's your opportunity to heal, to reconnect with yourself, gently, honestly, and in your own time. It's not about fixing, it's about remembering who you are beneath the noise. You'll find the link in the show notes if you feel drawn to explore this. For now, take what spoke to you and allow it to gently permeate into the next moment. Because the journey back to yourself starts with something as simple as this: noticing, softening, and choosing love, one breath, one thought, and one step at a time. In today's episode, we took a deep dive into taming that inner critic, the voice that often is louder than our self-trust and tends to shape how we see ourselves. We explored why this voice exists, how it's shaped by past experiences and beliefs, and most importantly, how we can begin to shift it towards something more compassionate. Understanding the inner critic is so important. This voice didn't appear overnight. It's formed through layers of past wounds, pressures, and unrealistic expectations. But with awareness, we can start to unravel it. Instead of speaking to yourself harshly, practice speaking to yourself like you would to a close friend. You're choosing self-compassion over criticism. This simple shift can have profound effects on your well-being. You can rewrite the story. Your inner dialogue is a narrative you can rewrite. By recognizing and challenging limiting beliefs, you can create a story rooted in love, self-acceptance, and growth. Take small steps towards change. Transformation doesn't need to be a grand, sweeping overhaul. It's about noticing the patterns and making small, gentle shifts each day to quiet the critic and honor your worth. There is power in patience. Shifting your inner critic takes time. Be patient with yourself and remember, changes happens one thought, one step, and one breath at a time. So take a deep breath, pause and reflect. What resonated the most with you today? Is there a specific moment where you felt like your inner critic was showing up? Take a small action, whether it's challenging a negative thought, practicing a moment of self-compassion, or journaling about the beliefs you're ready to release. Take one small action today to shift your self-talk toward love. Remember, this journey is about progress, not perfection. You don't need to silence that inner critic entirely. Just soften it and create space for the voice that supports your growth. You are worthy of that kindness. You are worthy of so much love. Thank you so much for tuning in today. My hope is that this conversation has helped you understand that the inner critic doesn't define you. It's just one part of your story. You have the power to rewrite the narrative, to soften that voice, and to treat yourself with the compassion you deserve. Remember, healing and transformation doesn't happen overnight, but every small step you take towards self-love is a victory. If today's episode resonated with you, I'd love for you to subscribe to the Ignite and Flow podcast so that we can continue to explore this journey together. And if you know someone who could use a little extra encouragement today, don't hesitate to share this episode with them. It just might be what they need right now. Until next time, be kind to yourself, trust the process, and remember, you are enough just as you are. I'm sending you so much love and support.